This is Jeanice Barcelo with Birth of a New Earth channel, and she's giving a lecture at a conference, and let's hear what she has to say.
So the attack on our children is very, very serious. It's massive, and it's happening through the medical system. It's happening through what we call prenatal care, and it's happening through what we call hospital birth. When I was born, my mother was given a drug, they called it twilight sleep. Anybody here familiar with the concept of twilight sleep? Basically, it's a mixture of Demerol, which is an opiate drug, and scopolamine. Scopolamine, they call it devil's breath, because anybody that induces scopolamine, that takes it into their bodies, will do whatever you tell them. They'll empty out their bank accounts if you tell them to, and they won't remember. They'll forget everything. All right, so I was born on these drugs. My mother was put in twilight sleep. She was completely not present. And it's only gotten worse since I was born in 1958. Scopolamine is a drug that is constantly used in trauma-based mind control to create amnesia and compliance. And it is being used, of course, in hospital birth. And these damn opiates, the Pitocin, which is supposed to speed up labor or induce labor, because they're inducing over 1/3, forcing a baby out of the womb before it's ready to be born. Good job, guys. Right? Forcing a premature birth through induction. Pitocin, Demerol, Morphine, Fentanyl, which is in the epidurals. These are all opiates. These are all Oxytocin mimickers. All right? Oxytocin is the hormone of love and bonding. When you put any one of these pharmaceutical substances into the mother's body, she's not going to be producing the normal thing. Certainly not in the way it was designed to happen during birth. So if oxytocin's not present, that means trouble breastfeeding and trouble bonding with your baby. It also means postpartum depression. If you allow any of these drugs into your system, you and your baby are in danger, because for baby, any of these drugs means baby's oxytocin receptor sites are going to be damaged for life. And do you know what that means? Opioid addictions later in life, because these kids cannot produce natural oxytocin the way they're supposed to because of what was done to them at their birth. So they're going to be reaching for the pharmaceuticals, Oxycodone, heroin, whatever they can get their hands on, and they're going to become addicted, because it is only through the synthetic substitutes that they can experience well-being. If you allow any of these drugs into your system, you and your baby are in danger, because for baby, any of these drugs means baby's oxytocin receptor sites are going to be damaged for life. And do you know what that means? Opioid addictions later in life, because these kids cannot produce natural oxytocin the way they're supposed to because of what was done to them at their birth. So they're going to be reaching for the pharmaceuticals, Oxycodone, heroin, whatever they can get their hands on, and they're going to become addicted, because it is only through the synthetic substitutes that they can experience well-being.
I'm going to put a link to this video in the description because this is a really great lecture and there's a lot of information in it. Here we have birthofanewearth.com, and this is Jeanice Barcelo's website, and she has a lot of information on these on this website here, and she also has a book, Birth Trauma and the Dark Side of Modern Medicine. And anyone that's planning on having a baby or going to be a grandma, You really need to watch this, for dads too. Here we have Jeanice. She is an author, educator, researcher, and activist dedicated to exposing medical abuse. This is her book. You can find it on Amazon. They have the paperback. They also have them used, and they have a Kindle edition. And she's coming out with a book, The Dark Side of Prenatal Ultrasound, and there's also a lot of information on her website. You can also find her on BitChute, and you can see all these videos that she's got, very important information. She's really got a ton of knowledge about this, and God bless her for sharing it with us. Here is another website that talks about the dangers of having a hospital birth. And one thing I think, like Jeanice said, you know, if you let them put these synthetic drugs in your body, it's going to harm you and your baby. The natural oxytocin is all you need. You don't need anything synthetic that's going to make you sick. And here's a young chap. We want our babies to be smiling like this one. Happy and healthy and beautiful. It's okay. He's a doctor. I have to include this because I found this on the Daily Mail website probably a couple years ago, and I thought it was so appalling and sick. 37 weeks, organs ready for harvest. At 37 weeks, organs including the kidneys, the heart, the liver, lungs are fully formed. From this point, they could be used for transplant to other patients. Doomed newborn kept alive until organs are removed. The mother gives birth at full term. Upon brain death, the baby's body is kept alive with a ventilator to keep its organs fresh for transplant operations. Keep them fresh, huh? Brain death, huh? Well, I don't buy it. This is sick. This is the real thing that's behind it. It all comes down to money. So they have this baby that's alive. They're going to cut it up while it's still alive into these parts for sale. When you take organs for transplant, the donor has to still be alive. So they probably don't think this baby feels any pain, right? So they just cut it up because it's brain dead. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So let's put on the armor of light, the armor of God, and let us prepare for the days ahead. But we need to take care of our children. Our future generations are being damaged greatly. And if we don't have future generations, we're all dead. So Jesus is going to straighten all this out, but until he gets here, we have to fight. Thank you for watching. God bless you all.